Happy Sunday, everyone. Welcome to another episode of BD Radio. Today, we are talking about common fitness myths. We're taking it MythBusters, which was one of my favourite TV shows as a kid.
Really?
Yeah. Which is weird because I'm not really sciencey like that.
Not at all.
But I just liked it when they blew up stuff, and it was nice to see those guys get their time in the sun. Today's myths are pretty common ones, and you certainly, I'd be shocked if you've spent any amount of time in the health and fitness game and haven't heard these.
Yep.
Or even believed them to be true. I mean, I think everyone has at one stage, but we're here to provide you with, I guess, the facts and ways in which you can move forward from believing these to be true. Really, so what they are and how you can move beyond them.
Yeah, we've already had a very heated discussion about
One of them.
some myths, so we've filtered that out for you, and hopefully we've got some useful information.
Yeah, if I have my way, we'll be talking about it next week, so we'll let you guys know, because I think it's valuable. Danny doesn't, so we're going to leave it for this week, and we'll go with these three. Number one, spot reduction. So when we say spot reduction, it's like what we might commonly hear is like, oh, what's the best exercises to help me lose fat around my belly?
That's
or,
very common. And arms.
What's the best exercises to help me, what do ladies call them? Oh, my tuck shop arms.
Yeah.
Or legs. So basically, can you lose fat from one specific spot?
No.
No, you can't. So beyond that, I think a lot of the confusion comes from you can't spot reduce, but you can spot gain, but it's two different things. So when I say spot gain, it's let's
not call it spot gain, but it is.
It is.
People generally store in a specific area, and that varies from person to person. So for women, a lot of women store in the hips.
I'm not even talking about that. I'm talking about gaining muscle. So I think a lot of the confusion comes from if I want to get bigger arms, then I can do an arms program or an upper body program, and I can grow my arms.
Yes, apologies.
So why can't I then turn it around and I want to lose fat on my legs, so I do this?
Yeah.
That's more what I meant.
So the difference being muscle and fat.
Yeah, two completely different substrates in the body.
Yes.
So, but logically makes sense.
Yeah.
If you can do one, why can't you do the other?
Yeah, that is why you can't, because gain, we are talking about muscle.
Yes.
And loss or reduction, we are talking about fat.
Yeah. Yeah, so spot reduction is a no-go. I mean, the analogy that I think best serves this topic is the one of if you wanted to, if you were trying to empty your pool in one specific area, if you were just scooping water out of the corner, it's just going to lower the whole thing. It's all interconnected. So
do you want to explain a little bit how fat loss works in general?
All right. Okay. So step number one, how do you lose fat? Okay. So basically you breathe it out. So it breaks down in the body as to make up the energy that you're not giving yourself through food. So you have to be in a calorie deficit with your food, and then your body basically uses your fat stores as the fuel to make up that difference, and you break it down, use it as energy, and then breathe it out.
Yeah. So our bodies,
I guess, sorry to cut you off, but I guess that comes to another myth, turning fat to muscle or turning muscle to fat also doesn't. Yeah. Yeah. That's a myth.
So, but how that happens, so ways that people could look to reduce fat.
Ways that they could look to do it.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So in terms of how we work out, and in terms of not working out, a specific area to lose fat in a specific area, what do we do to overall lose fat?
I mean, a full body training program. If you don't have any goal in particular, if you don't have any general athletic goal, then you would be best served to kind of mix up between resistance training, a little bit of cardio to complement that.
Yeah, so what we want to do, guys, in this workout, so like Ben was saying, a full body would serve you well. But you do want to work out your larger muscle groups.
Yeah, so
That's key, basically.
yeah, so like I guess if you're talking about what we call like a fat loss workout, I wouldn't be doing, a million curls, because the biceps are basically a small muscle
They're
group.
small, yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't be doing a million calf raises, like just muscle groups that you want to use to kind of give yourself maximum investment really is like squats, deadlifts, compound exercises that use multiple muscles in the one movement.
Yeah.
Is where you will be best served for sure.
So the more muscle you use, the more calories you burn, the more likely you are to lose fat.
Yeah, especially when paired with an effective nutrition strategy, I guess.
Yeah.
Question for you, and I've just thought of this now. Do you think that, like, when people say, "Oh, I'd like to lose fat in a specific area," like the magazines will call it, like your problem areas, and I've just done the inverted commas sign, like everyone has, I always lose.
We do that.
Yeah, I always, it goes straight to my hips, or it goes straight to my belly, or it goes straight to my chest, or something like that. I just hate that those are typically the areas that people are trying to lose first.
Yes.
But unfortunately, like, all of us are genetically like predisposed to store like fat in particular areas.
Yeah.
Not all of us are the same.
Yeah, exactly. And reason being, like the reason why we store fat in those areas is to actually protect our body. So to look after our vital organs and that kind of thing.
For sure.
So like it's not...
Ladies around their hips is prime example.
Yeah. We're designed for childbirth. Like...
You're not designed to have six packs.
We're not.
Nor are you in optimal function for a lot of people when you do actually have one.
I was about to say, and the people that, do it, whether it be for competition, sport, whatever it may be, they may not actually be, in prime health.
No, so, I mean, the easy way for a lady to kind of judge her health, I think, is her cycle. Like if you have a healthy and regular cycle, that can usually give you some sort of indication of, the kind of health that you're in. And the reality is lots of pro athletes or bodybuilders or anything where they're, like at the pinnacle of their sport, they don't have that.
Yeah.
Because it's sort of like they have to sacrifice it for performance.
I was about to say they're sacrificing their health for performance, and that can only be done short term.
So we've sort of branched off there from spot reduction, but all you need to know is spot reduction is a myth. It can't happen. But fat loss can happen, but you just can't focus on an area. However, spot gain with muscle can definitely happen.
Just on,
you want to go?
We may as well touch on one, because I know the tummy is a big area for a lot of people. And let's just say, so if you wanted to focus on losing fat around your tummy, it's not what you could do training wise, it's what you do in your lifestyle. So, I'm sure people have often heard that abs aren't made in the gym, they're made in the kitchen.
Not if you read Men's Health. So.
What you do outside of your training is often more important if you do have a fat loss goal than what you're doing training wise.
Yeah, 100%. And if your goal is fat loss, what you do for training almost serves better as like accountability rather than actual results. Like it sort of keeps you focused on the goal, as well as just, it giving you a bit of an outlet to, decrease stress, all that stuff. They're both important, but the pure like nuts and bolts, X's and O's of the result comes more from the kitchen for sure.
Yes.
Number 2. Happy with that? Moving on?
Yes, we're on to number 2.
Okay, number 2 is cardio is best for weight loss.
Oh, I love it. So good. Girls are especially into this, I reckon.
You know what? And I've only thought of this myth now, but I think girls are especially into this one because of the whole weights make you bulky sort of... for those at home, she's rolling her eyes, but... that is a very real fear for a lot of people. Like if I had $1 for every time I heard it, and it's no one's fault because it's what sort of pushed. Like I saw some girl on Instagram, and I've never been so close to sending a message to a stranger. She has like, her club is called the Skinny Legs Club. I'm like, what on earth is this? She's like, oh, you know, these exercises are best for skinny legs. Don't do squats. Don't do dead. I'm like, what sort of bullshit are you peddling?
Qualified, I'm sure.
Yeah. And now I need to make this sort of, you know, now this is a rated podcast. But like, when there's that, and especially because, like, if you don't know any better, like, she has what a lot of people would term as like a desirable physique, so she must know what she's talking about. And unfortunately, that's not true. And like, I think I read on one of her posts, like, her top tips are like walk in and then like a whole bunch of like glute banded stuff, which is fine in the correct application, but certainly not what's best for like joining the Lean Legs Club.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Well, it's a shame because like, if you didn't know any better, you'd be like, oh, that looks good, I'll try that. And I think, you know, especially when starting a program is such an emotional decision for a lot of people, it's a shame when there are experts out there in our industry who it sort of looks like they're taking advantage.
Yeah, they're taking the piss.
Yeah.
It's embarrassing. Like, it makes me embarrassed sometimes for what we do. Like,
sometimes,
for
yeah.
our industry, yeah.
Yeah. And I only hope that girl, the leader of the Lean Legs Club, is like, if she knows what she's doing, it's a shame. If she doesn't know any better, then I hope someone tells her better.
Come on.
That's pretty glass half full.
This is typical Ben.
Yeah.
He's got his rose-coloured glasses on, guys.
Well, yes.
She's making her penny.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hopefully. Anyway, cardio
for weight loss.
Cardio for weight loss. But the two are definitely intertwined, I think.
Well, obviously, you get your heart rate up, guys. You're going to burn calories.
At that specific time.
Yep. Yeah,
So
for that workout. So if
yeah.
you're wearing a watch and you go out for a run.
Activity tracker is super popular these days.
Yeah.
But also, and I think it's important to make this point, they're also not very accurate, especially the ones that most people wear.
True.
So activity trackers, like, there's been a bunch of studies on these. They can be up to 35% inaccurate. Wait, I'm about to say this wrong, but their accuracy is off by up to 35% for calories burned.
Yes.
They're pretty good for steps.
Yeah.
We use ours for steps all the time. I mean, as long as it's consistent, then the inaccuracies or accuracies don't really matter in regards to steps. Like, if it's consistently inconsistent, then that's fine because the number is the number. But we would never use the calories burned as any kind of indication on what to eat for the rest of the day.
Oh, God, no.
In fact, if you do that, we highly encourage you not to.
Yeah.
And because, I mean, it also sort of feeds into that mindset of like earning food or punishing yourself through exercise, which we really want to avoid. Like, we want to exercise as a celebration of what we can do or what we can progress towards.
Yeah.
And we never want to exercise as I just ate a bit of chocolate cake, I need to run until I've burned 600 calories.
Yes.
And that's a bit of a bad space to be in mentally.
Yeah.
So cardio for weight loss, I think the best way to think about it is like this. So it's sort of like working a job where you get paid per hour, but not like beyond that. So it's sort of like casual employment. Whereas if I work at Macca's and I get paid whatever much an hour, I have to work to actually earn the money. Whereas if I work another job and I've got paid leave and all that sort of stuff, I can go on holidays and I can still earn money. Yep. So the whole idea with weight training is it's basically an investment in your body and your metabolism so that you may like continue to function, build muscle, burn fat beyond the actual workout.
Yep. So resistance training is your salary, guys.
Yeah. That's a really simplistic way to explain it, but it's sort of like you basically put down a down payment and then it, accrues while you're not actually in the gym.
Yeah. So you may not burn as many calories in a session. If you look at your watch, you definitely won't.
Yeah, well, we can use the example. If we go, so I went for a bike ride yesterday, and my activity tracker told me I'd burnt about 600 calories, which is probably a little bit over, but maybe reasonably close. If I do a hard weight session, I'd be lucky to hit 250.
Yeah.
But like, it's not like, oh, at the end of the day, I've burnt 350 less calories.
Yeah.
So it's actually over the day, my heart rate will be elevated at a level above my resting rate, because my body is now pumping blood around. My heart is now pumping blood around my body, so that it might like aid in my recovery, and therefore like I'm burning calories all day doing that.
Yeah. So like anything, guys, and I think we can relate this to anything in life, when you look at something in isolation is very different to looking at the bigger picture.
Yeah.
So if you look at the workout in isolation,
Yeah.
yes, you burn more calories in a cardio session.
Yeah.
However, if you look at the bigger picture, when we resistance train, we are burning more calories over a period of time.
Yeah, up to 48 hours
Yeah.
after the actual workout.
That's massive.
Huge. So, and it's, I think, well, what it's called is that exercise post-oxygen consumption is like what people will call, and you may have read about it on various blogs, as like the afterburn.
Yeah, I was about to say.
Yeah. The afterburn, which is like sort of true, sort of not, but that's the way that is pretty easy to understand.
Yeah.
Also, just wanted to make a quick point on cardio for weight loss and compared to weight is we know how important hormones are in regards to like being in an optimal position for your body to do what it wants. We live in a stressful world. We're a
very stressful environment.
Not just the like, oh, I'm stressed with work or whatever, but like when you wake up, your body is put under stress without you even realizing. Hard aerobic activity all the time is a lot of stress on your body, and it's like you'll hear maybe trainers talk about like cortisol junkies, where it's just like everything has to be hard all the time, and it's like you basically leads to burnout.
Yes.
Whereas weight training can put you in a little bit of a better hormonal position long term, so that you're, like we call it, decreased stress and more muscle, and just being able to perform better at everything.
And again, when you look at that in a whole picture scenario, you're a lot better off.
Yeah, absolutely. And it just allows you to be a lot more long term, as well as the pure fact of injury prevention as well. Like, how many people, and you know what, if you're at home, raise your hand if you've ever I'm going to start running, and within a week your calf's tight and you can't run anymore.
Yeah.
Like, as adults, it's really hard to get off the couch and go straight into doing what 10-year-olds used to, because you're out of practice, haven't run in ages, probably not wearing the right shoes, don't really know how to progress,
the impact
as well
on the
as
body,
you're 50 kgs heavier than the last time you ran. So it's just, there are a bunch of issues with cardio over lifting weights. So takeaway point, lifting weights, in our opinion, and I don't think you'll find a really reputable trainer who disagrees, is better for long-term sustainable weight loss.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That being said, if you like running, run.
Yeah, I was about to say, we're
not trying to talk you out of running.
Yeah, our programs use a combination of both.
Yeah, so this is more aimed at the person who think they have to run, rather than the person who enjoys running.
Yes, exactly. Absolutely, a combination of, we believe, is best.
Mm-hmm.
And most studies will support as well.
Yeah, absolutely. Now, last one, passionate one. Ooh, we are passionate about this. Carbs make you fat.
Ugh.
Do they, Dad?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either. So and we'll break this down. So the science says no. However, what studies say versus what people actually do. Like, here's the difference between like physical science and behavioral science. So what we know to be true versus what people actually do are two different things. So when people say like, oh, Karen, you look amazing, you've lost a bunch of weight, what did you do? And they say, oh, I just stopped eating bread. then that's sort of ingrained in them the right then and there is that, oh, it was the bread that made me fat.
Yeah.
Or overweight. I should stop saying fat. But it's like, it wasn't actually the bread. It was the fact that you cut out, a portion of your diet and therefore put you in a calorie deficit. So basically, carbs have the same caloric value as protein.
Yeah.
4 per gram. Fats have 9. So when you read that, it would be reasonable to assume that, oh, well, then if I just didn't eat as much fat, then that would be better. And whilst you might be right, but if you look at all the diets that are really popular these days, it's low carb, keto.
Yeah.
So,
well, it changes obviously with the times. Like we've seen, years and years ago, probably before your time, Ben. Actually, fat was the enemy.
Oh yeah, skim milk and
everything
low fat
skim.
yogurt, all that sort of stuff.
Absolutely.
That actually came. Do you want to know the origin of that? The guy who studied that, I'm pretty sure he was a South African. In the 70s, he came up with a study that said, and it was all because of saturated fats, which is animal fats that you find a lot in red meat, dairy, all that stuff. He did a study that said that it led to heart disease, all that stuff. So, everything off that was, cereals, all sorts of low fat, high carb stuff just hit the shelves. And then years later, he did another study, came out and was like, actually, I was wrong.
I'm so sorry.
And they buried him.
Yeah.
It never got published. I can't remember his name, but that I guess that sort of tells you the power of the food industry in determining, and the marketing and determining what we as a consumer believe to be true.
Yeah. Remember who funds the studies always.
Oh yeah.
Always. You'll see sugar and wheat, those companies fund, Coca-Cola funds a lot of studies because they don't want to prove that their product is harmful.
I sent you something on Instagram a while ago. What was it? It was about Coca-Cola.
Oh, was that?
Yeah. Oh, it was. I won't look too long to find it because it's pretty boring. But it was something about how nothing like a Coke in the morning to help. And it's it's 3-year-old kid drinking a Coke. So it's smoking used to be healthy too.
I was about to say, they used to advertise that.
Yeah, we're a little bit wiser now, but back to carbs making you fat. You say that,
but sometimes I feel like we're just so naive, because we don't want to believe it because it's something we really like, because it's something we really enjoy. Like
alcohol.
We choose to simply ignore all the facts right in front of us.
I think that might be true as well, but because with the internet today, it's so easy for good people and good trainers to get their word out there that often this stuff gets squashed pretty quickly.
Rose-coloured glasses, guys.
Yeah. Well, you're like the Joker over here, just wanting to watch the world burn.
That's not true.
All right, so carbs making you fat. Here's why people who cut carbs out of their diets tend to lose weight is because all of a sudden, let's say as a pie chart, their diet was roughly 20% protein, 40% fat, 40% carbs. If you cut out 40% of your,
of any diet,
of your daily intake, you will lose weight.
Absolutely.
It doesn't necessarily mean what it is. Also, what we know with clients who tend to drop their carbs a bit is they tend to improve their food quality.
Yes.
So they won't have bread with their eggs, they'll have half an avocado.
Yeah.
Which far more nutrient dense, filling, all that stuff. So in actual fact, it's not dropping the carbs. You can continue to eat carbs and lose fat if you want to. We would just encourage you to choose better sources of carbs, like fruits, rice, pretty much as close to unprocessed as you can get.
I was about to say, like any macronutrient, they are not all equal.
No.
So your fats aren't all equal, your carbs aren't all equal, your proteins aren't all
Yeah.
equal.
Just because they break down to the one thing along the journey is
Exactly.
like there's a lot of difference in the way it's broken down in your body and the signals that it sends to your, hormones, thyroid, muscles, cells, all that stuff.
Yeah. Our main advice is don't cut out any group. I wouldn't cut out any group because
No.
all play a vital role in the body. So going back
Yes.
to the fat one,
Yeah.
like fat plays such an important role with our hormones. And quite often you will see with girls that have a really low fat in their diet, they do have a lot of hormonal issues that come with that.
Yeah.
And, and that includes stuff like mood swings.
Mood swings, hair, teeth, nails, dry lips is one that you can usually tell as well from low fat. But also, like the take home message here, guys, is that anything that's too extreme in one way is unsustainable, and you'll start to see negative effects with how you feel.
Yeah.
So,
and anything to do with your own personal health and well-being, like please, like just look at the facts and like don't believe what your girlfriend tells you. Like when you're making a decision for you and
even your
body,
trainer, do your research.
Even a professional. Like if I walk out of
a GP
and they're telling me to take a medication, I am not putting that in my body until I've looked it up.
Yeah, I think sometimes as a society we're a little bit too trusting and we don't necessarily trust ourselves enough to make a good judgment call. So ask the questions, you get the answers, and then make
an informed decision for you, and then based on that informed decision, trust how you're then feeling.
Yeah.
So if you've then gone, okay, I'm doing.
Whoops, pardon me, I just dropped my phone.
Okay, I'm not having bread anymore. Okay, and then for the next.
Why?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just
be able
why
to
are you not
say
having
why.
bread? Anyway, so you've decided that
I recognise I eat a little bit too much of it. I'm going to substitute it for.
I'm going to move more towards something that's less
rice
processed.
Cakes. Yeah, something
blah, blah, blah. And then after a few weeks, you're like, I'm actually not feeling great. I really miss bread. And
who doesn't miss bread? Bread's awesome.
And nothing's really changed for me. Like I was doing it for weight loss and I haven't lost any weight.
Yeah.
Have your bread.
The take home message here, guys, is you don't need to, we're clearly in the era of elimination.
All or nothing.
Or not all or nothing, but more like, if you just cut fat, or if you just cut this out, cut gluten out. But it's like when you say all or nothing, I think people think like I'm all in or I'm all out, compared to like cutting all of something out.
Both.
Yeah, well,
I think both.
That's true too, but yeah, the elimination diet era that we're in, hopefully it's over soon, but the take home message is carbs do not make you fat. Excess consumption of anything will cause you to gain weight, and underconsumption of anything will possibly cause you to lose weight.
Yeah.
So it's about treating your diet as a whole.
Yeah.
Really. Maybe a couple of pointers on how much carbs to eat at a meal. For ladies, we typically recommend 1 cupped hand.
Yep.
As well as a fist or two of vegetables. Maybe if you've just done a workout or a training session of any kind, you can have 2. That's a good time to replenish those energy stores. For the gents, aim for 2.
Yep.
That's cooked as well, not uncooked, because we all know the difference between cooked rice and uncooked rice is drastic. But that's just a really easy way to ensure that you're getting enough, but not too much.
Yeah.
And maybe just the last point on carbs. I think people tend to demonize them because they are the easiest to overconsume.
Oh, look at...
So like sweets and stuff. They're delicious. It's easy to say no to another chicken breast. It's pretty hard to say no to another slice of cake or biscuit or whatever.
I was about to say, guys, we live in a very, very carb heavy society because we are...
And it's cheap as well.
Yeah, convenient.
It's
everything
cheap.
you eat out of a packet, guys, carbs.
Yeah, pretty much. Pretty much,
Yeah, that's an easy way to think about it. Rather than, if you're actually talking whole foods, it's a very different story.
Yeah, Even though you castrate me the other day because I bought celery in a packet.
Oh my gosh. You bought celery, pre-cut celery in a packet. Honestly.
I was a bit dumb. I didn't know how much
And I
you
needed
needed.
one stalk and he bought 2 packets. So now
We
I've
have-
got all this celery.
800 grams of celery. Yeah, so that's our three myths today. Is spot reduction, it doesn't exist. Spot gain of muscle does exist.
Yep.
What was number 2? Cardio for weight loss.
Yep.
It works, but it certainly doesn't need, it's certainly not better, is
No.
what we should say. And we would encourage those of you on the fence who don't actually enjoy cardio that much to definitely lift weights. And number 3, carbs do not make you fat. They are they basically fuel performance.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Overconsumption of anything makes you gain
Yeah.
weight. It's not a specific macronutrient.
no. So with carbs, guys, as always, just try and improve the quality of them, and that should really help with overconsumption as well.
I was
As
about to say, like with any group, if you look at always the quality you're eating, that generally helps deal with the
Yeah.
quantity. Like you don't really need to think about it.
Yeah, as I guess there's a bit of a breakdown. Like when we talk about quality, we basically mean as close to the source as possible. So the least amount of processing is ideal.
Yeah. So like when people, like if you're talking about meat, let's just say,
Yeah, like a chicken nugget compared to
a chicken nugget or
Yeah.
a sausage compared to a piece of fish. And even then, if you can go break it down even further, wild caught is so much better than a farmed fish.
Yeah. Fish fingers compared to the flathead you caught in the bay that you cooked that night. Yeah.
Can't compare.
Can't compare. That's basically what we're talking about when we talk about food quality.
Yeah.
Anyways, if you've got any more myths and you'd like some help on them, just send them through. We could do a few of these episodes. I know the weights making you bulky could definitely
that
be a
is
good one.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I'm a little bit spewing that I only thought of it in the middle of
I
talking
know, because
about
it's so common. Like we hear
it's
it all the
it's a
time.
massive one, but
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, for those of us in the know, it makes us smile, but we also understand that for people who don't know, maybe it's not your goal to walk around like some supreme athlete, and that's okay, but until we actually address it, all you need to know is that just won't happen.
Yes.
Okay, and we can explain that on a later episode, but hope everyone is safe and well, and their families are too, and we will see you guys next week.
Bye.